Hey everybody, and welcome to Strategically Helpful, where I share information that I hope you find beneficial. I'm Allie. In today's video, I'm sharing how I made these DIY eucalyptus menthol shower steamers, and I will also have a video on the gift jars, so check the description below for that link, or be sure to subscribe so you get notified once I get it posted. So I'm gonna run through the ingredients quickly. So first you need baking soda. Next up, you're gonna need cornstarch, or you can also use arrowroot. It's either arrowroot flour, arrowroot starch. This is kaolin clay, or you can also use cream of tartar, witch hazel, or another option is rubbing alcohol. You need a spray bottle. You need citric acid. And then in a minute, I'm gonna show you the wet ingredients. But the first thing I do is measure out the 1 cup of citric acid, and then I'm gonna set that aside. That's the last ingredient I'm gonna add because I don't want to activate the fizzing action of the citric acid. We're gonna put the citric acid aside. Next, we've got the menthol crystals and the eucalyptus oil, essential oil. So I'm gonna measure out 1 tablespoon each, and I'm gonna put them in this microwave safe jar and get those menthol crystals to melt. So this is a project that I did in Christmas season of 2022. We were right in the middle of COVID, and everyone was suffering from congestion, sinus problems, allergies, cold, flu, COVID, whatever you have it. So this was my decision to make gifts for everyone that I cared for. And then I put them in these little 8-ounce mason jars that I found at Target. I think I got 14 in a set. And then I did that little creative gift kind of decoration on the jar. I found the perfect size boxes to ship them in that kept the jars nice and safe. And they were a really big hit. So this is why I am here showing this process, because a lot of people ask me, like, how did you do that? And once I get this video done, my next task of order is to make more jars so I can show the process of how I made the gift jars that look like little snowmen. And this year I also have an idea to make jars that look like Santa. So you'll definitely wanna subscribe and get notified, or check the description below. And also I have an entire instruction guide for all of this whole recipe available that I will discuss at the end of the video. So now what I'm doing is taking the dry ingredients and I'm putting them through this mesh sieve to get all the clumps out of the dry ingredients, so that the consistency of the steamers is just really consistent. You don't have any clumps or lumps or anything. So first went a cup of baking soda, then 8 tablespoons of cornstarch. And then I'm gonna get into, now we've got the kaolin clay. So I'm gonna do 4 tablespoons of the kaolin clay. I bought all of these products on Amazon, but the kaolin clay is kind of the hardener. It helps the steamer take shape and kind of, it doesn't, crumble in your hand. And then the arrowroot, or the cornstarch, is kind of the buffer or the thickener, and it kind of buffers that fizzing action, so it extends the life of the steamer. And then the baking soda and the citric acid, that's the combination that creates the fizzing action, which then releases the aromatherapy. And when you're in the shower, that combined with the steam makes this great like aromatherapy diffusion in your shower. So now the key is to mix everything really well. So right now I'm just trying to mix all those dry ingredients, make sure they're all distributed. Now I add the liquid ingredients. So this is the menthol and the eucalyptus oil, and it is definitely very strong, so you'll see me react to it. But here what I'm doing, you need to wear gloves because you don't want this much exposure to the essential oils or the menthol. And then all I do is just rinse and repeat. I clump the mixture, and then I kind of distribute it in my hands, kind of rub it between my hands to get rid of the clump, and then reclump, and then distribute, reclump. And it's just rinse and repeat over and over. And this is a great recipe. It doesn't take that long to whip up a batch. Again, I probably made 30 gift jars last year, so I think all told, I probably made like 8 batches. So the size of the menthol crystal jar, the size of the eucalyptus oil jar, a lot of the products that I bought, they're actually holdovers from last year. So you don't need to buy the big jar that I have. I think my menthol crystals are 8 ounces. You could definitely get away with a 4-ounce jar unless you want to make a batch of gifts for, you know, all your loved ones. I think this would also be a great idea. I mean, I gave a ton of gifts to my colleagues, to family members. If you're a parent and you want to give gifts to teachers, I just felt it was a great gift to give to everyone because everybody suffers from congestion on occasion. And everybody, I feel like, enjoys the scent of menthol. So it was kind of a win-win. And also to be able to make it myself and kind of to put love into each gift. That's my favorite kind of gifts. So if you have any questions on this process, please feel free to leave a comment below. Definitely be sure to give me a like if you find this video helpful. It really helps, and I absolutely appreciate it, especially being a brand new content creator and a very small channel. And then also, as I referenced earlier, I actually took this whole recipe and documented it on a 2-page sheet, so you can download it on my website, all of the instructions, all the steps. You can download it with no strings attached, or there's a second option where you can download it and actually give me a little tip. It's totally voluntary. Both buttons are available to you. So if you are a fan of crafting or organizing, or if you enjoy creative gift ideas, also if you love skincare and self-care, I absolutely recommend that you subscribe to my channel because that is the kind of content that is in the process as we speak. So now I've added the citric acid, and now I am really mixing in the ingredients and making sure they're just mixed really well. And just rinse and repeat over and over. I clump them up, I distribute the clumps. And just over and over and over. And so you want the consistency to get to the point of like being kind of like wet sand, where when you clump it, the ball in your hand will stay clumped, but you don't want it like dripping, soaking wet. You just kind of want a consistency of wet sand. A little shameless plug, the sweatshirt I'm wearing is also DIY and will be something I cover in a future video, so subscribe to learn how I did it. Now I'm adding the witch hazel in that fine mist spray bottle, and this helps kind of create that wet sand consistency. So I love this spray bottle because it really diffuses the witch hazel, or you could also use rubbing alcohol, but it really kind of spreads it out. It helps with the overall goal of getting it well distributed. And again, same system, just clump and then, you know, kind of check the consistency. How well does it stay? Does it clump really, does it distribute or disintegrate really easily? So I can kind of tell I still need a little bit more witch hazel, but you also want to be cautious. You don't want to add too much witch hazel because it'll cause your steamers to expand when they're in the mold, and it'll cause cracks. So you kind of want to find that perfect balance, but you can see me, I'm kind of testing the durability of the clump, making sure it's kind of, you know, got a good amount of stick-to-itiveness so it doesn't disintegrate in my hand. So here is the consistency. It is definitely still, you know, wet sand-like. It's not liquidy or soapy, but when you clump it together, you can kind of get that clump. And then you can see it's a pretty durable clump. It stays intact, and it's kind of hard to kind of crush and crumble. And then finally, the last step is to distribute it into the mold. This recipe will result in about 20 mini muffin shower steamers. And you just want to make sure that you really get those shower steamers well packed in. And then I will let these dry a minimum of 24 hours. The longer, the better, in my opinion. And then once they've dried enough, I will just flip them over onto a tray. They pop right out. This is what they look like. And then I create my little gift jars. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you in my next video.